All right, let's dive into ITIL 4. Now, this isn't just some boring update to an old IT framework. No. This is a complete reinvention of IT's role in a business. We're talking about a huge shift from seeing IT as just a back office support team to a core partner in creating real, tangible business value. So let's break down how that actually works.
So let's start with the big question every single business should be asking itself. For decades, IT was just seen as a cost center, right? Just another line item on the budget. But honestly, that way of thinking is ancient history. Today, technology is what gives companies their edge. So ITIL 4 makes us ask, is our IT department just costing us money, or is it a powerful engine driving the business forward?
You know, this slide just nails the old way of thinking. IT would build something and then basically just toss it over the wall to the business. It was a one-way street. But ITIL 4 completely flips that on its head. It gets that value isn't something you just deliver like a pizza. It has to be co-created. It's a constant, active partnership between IT and the people who actually use the stuff they build. And that idea of partnership, that's what leads us straight to the heart of ITIL 4, this concept of co-creating value. But before we can start creating it together, we really have to get on the same page about what value even means in this new world. Okay, this is so important. Value isn't some number that the IT department gets to decide. It is all about perception. It's about the benefits and the usefulness that the customer feels they're getting. Look, if they don't see it as valuable, then it's not valuable. Period. Doesn't matter how cool the tech is. And that's exactly why that relationship is so critical. So, if value is our destination, then a service is basically the car that gets us there. Think about it like this. A service is what lets the customer get what they really want, a specific outcome, without having to worry about all the complicated stuff running in the background. The service takes care of the costs and risks for them. And all that complicated stuff in the background, well, that's the product. It's the mix of technology, people, and processes that makes the service actually work. The customer never really touches the product directly, but without it, the service just couldn't exist. Now, if you're going to co-create value, you've got to know who you're working with, right? ITIL breaks it down into 3 key roles you always need to consider. You have the customer, who sets the requirements. You have the user, who's the person on the ground actually using the service every day. And you have the sponsor, the person who holds the purse strings. A successful service has to keep all 3 of them happy. So let's go back to that idea of a service managing costs and risks. I know, it sounds a little abstract, a bit corporate speak, doesn't it? So let's make it crystal clear with a super simple, everyday example. This is just perfect. Think about a service like Uber or Lyft. On one hand, it gets rid of huge costs and risks for you. You don't have to buy a car, pay for insurance, or worry about maintenance. But, and this is key, it introduces new costs and risks. Now you need a good smartphone with a data plan, you have to pay for every ride, and you're taking a chance that your battery could die right when you need to ride home. Every single service, IT included, has this exact same kind of trade-off. Okay, so we've got all these concepts on the table: value, services, products, stakeholders. How do we actually put all of this together in a way that's consistent and reliable? Well, that's where the ITIL service value system comes into play. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How does an organization actually do this, day in and day out? How do you turn all these cool ideas into something real? Well, ITIL gives us a blueprint for it, an operating model that shows how all the parts fit together to churn out value. And here it is, the Service Value System, or SVS. The best way to think about it is as the organization's operating system for creating value. It all starts with the guiding principles. That's the core mindset. Then you have governance, which directs the core activities happening in the service value chain. And those activities use practices as tools to get stuff done. And the whole thing is wrapped in this idea of continual improvement, meaning we're always looking for ways to get better. So let's zoom in on what I think is one of the most powerful parts of the whole system, the guiding principles. Think of these as the cultural bedrock of the organization, the recommendations that should guide you in absolutely everything you do, no matter your size or what you're trying to achieve. Okay, you can see all 7 of them here, and honestly, they're all fantastic. But for now, let's really zero in on 3 that are just absolutely fundamental to the whole ideal ITIL 4 mindset. If you get these 3, you're halfway there. First, and most importantly, focus on value. This is the absolute cornerstone. Every single thing the organization does, every project, every task, every meeting, should have a clear line back to creating value.
If you're doing something and you can't explain how it adds value, you should probably ask why you're doing it at all.
Next up, start where you are. Oh man, it is so tempting to just want to tear everything down and build from scratch, right? A fresh start. But this principle tells us to resist that urge. First, you have to take an honest look at what you already have, your people, your processes, your tools, and see what you can reuse or improve. Don't just throw away good work for the sake of it.
And number 3, progress iteratively with feedback. This is straight out of the modern Agile playbook. Don't try to build the giant, perfect, final solution all in one go. You'll fail. Instead, break the work down into small, bite-sized pieces. Deliver something. Get real feedback from your stakeholders, learn from it, and then build the next piece. It's way more flexible and so much less risky.
So what's the big payoff here? When you take this intense focus on value and you combine it with these guiding principles, how does the day-to-day work of IT actually change? What does it feel like? This right here, this is the single biggest mental shift in all of ITIL 4. For years, IT was obsessed with outputs. How many help desk tickets did we close? How many servers did we patch? But those are just activities. ITIL 4 demands that we focus on outcomes, the actual results and the value the business gets. The question is no longer, what did we do? It's, what did we make possible for them? When you put it all together, it's a fundamental change in identity. It's about moving from being just technology-focused to being value-focused, from just delivering outputs to truly enabling outcomes, from being a simple service provider to becoming a genuine business partner, and finally, from being seen as a cost center to becoming an essential co-creator of value for the entire company.
Look, this framework isn't just theory for a textbook. It's a real, practical way to look at how your team works with the rest of the business. These principles can be applied by anyone at any level. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What is one small thing you can do, starting today, to begin shifting from just delivering outputs to truly co-creating value? Thanks for tuning in.